So this is a sucking blister, can be seen at birth most of the time, and then you may see the pigmentation persisting later. Typical sites over the forearm, in the dorsum of the hand. Very rarely we have seen it on the toes as well, where the baby tends to take the head leg up and bite. Similar blister can happen on the lips as well on the corresponding site. So vigorous sucking in utero, and this habit may continue after birth. So to reduce it and allow it to heal, you may use mittens or wrap the area according to where it is. It happens in 0.5% of the newborn. Shallow erosions, typically we see it by the site, and fingers, wrists, forearm, and lips can be affected. Usually the dressing is needed if eroded, but most of the time it dries up and heals. Neurocutaneous markers, aplasia cutis is very common. I don't think I've covered it here, but it will be like a punched out lesion on the scalp. I think some of you have shared examples on the group. You need to do a cranial ultrasound if it's a larger lesion on the scalp. Again, if it is having epithelialization, you don't need to treat. And some of them are syndromic. So if the baby has any other features, you need to work up for that. The neurocutaneous markers, the capella spots may not be present at birth, or they may be small. If one or two lesions are there and there is no family history, you can reassure and monitor. If it starts increasing in size, then the easiest option, because the other parameters may not develop, you have to consider genetic testing for neurofibromatosis. So the ash leaf macule is typically again seen at later age groups. The tuberous sclerosis has to be considered when this starts developing. Most of you would have seen subcutaneous fat necrosis, especially after we started therapeutic hypothermia. If you're not taking adequate precautions to protect the skin, you end up with the plaques, which are thick, irregular, and especially over the back, the buttock, and so on. The main complication of this is hypervitaminosis D, and you get hypercalcemia as a side effect because of the tissue having the ability to 1-hydroxylate the vitamin D. And you need to monitor the calcium. It tends to be insidious. Adequate hydration is important to prevent the side effects of hypercalcemia. This also has a risk of ulceration if you don't identify early and start protecting the skin. So you may need to involve the pediatric surgeon.